continue to practice and inshallah to grow as a community. And if we don't have those established relationships, that's much, much harder. And people can use, use something like that, and we've seen that happen. We've seen that happen, in Tempe in California, in Tennessee, in cases all across the country. We've seen, mosque opposition come up. Well, we can reduce that very, very greatly by being engaged politically on the local level. So I think the last thing I want to talk about is before we, so those are two things that you can kind of do as an individual, and the last thing that I want to talk about before we kind of open it up for Q&A is to be engaged as being a part of a group. We are much, much more effective when we come together and we institutionalize our knowledge, and we institutionalize our efforts. Then we can really make a difference. If we've got Muslims all around the country going and talking to congresspeople and senators about the same issue, within the same couple of weeks, that has a much bigger effort than one or two people, a much bigger impact than one or two people doing it on their own across the country. So that's something that we really, really need to do, and that's something that CAIR is really all about. CAIR as an organization is devoted to three things. Number one is enhancing the understanding of Islam, correcting the false information that's out there. Number two is protecting the civil rights of all Americans. Number three is empowering the American Muslim community. And we do these through specific acts, through organizing the community. I mentioned some of the legal actions that we've taken. So, we filed a lawsuit recently in Michigan to try and stop religious questioning at the border. It's not right that people, when they're coming back into the U.S., U.S. citizens, green card holders, anybody, are asked questions about how often they pray. What does that have to do with whether or not you should be able to come into the country? What does that have to do with how much stuff you bought while you were in Canada? Do you have to pay customs? It has nothing to do with it. Why are they asking those questions? It's not right. It's not appropriate. And inshallah, we're trying to stop that. I talked about the anti-Sharia bills and the political, the lawsuit that we filed to stop them, but also in Tennessee, we organized the Muslim community there to come out and oppose it at the state capitol and prevented that bill from coming to a vote. So we're able to mobilize the Muslim community. That's part of empowering the community as well too. And then, with these mosque opposition cases, we've handled dozens of these across the country. And it's probably something that will come up in your local community at some point. We've seen it be almost everywhere. Probably people can tell me about cases that has already happened here. I just don't know about them. And inshallah, we can come in, and we do come in and help the local communities organize to reach out effectively, and make the political connections they need and present their argument persuasively. But also, in case there are discrimination and illegal activities going on, try to block those.